Good afternoon, everyone. I'm attorney Danyl Patterson, candidate for the 190th state rep seat, and we are only 5 wake-ups away from Election Day here in Philadelphia. So that's next Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. We've earned your vote. Now we need you to come out and exercise it. Come push button number 17 on the road with Joe and help put Patterson in position. So when they ask who you want your state rep to be, you're looking for attorney Danyl Patterson on the road with Joe, button number 17. And as always, I've got information for you. So let's talk about those scammers. That's where this all comes from in actuality, because new notices were put out yesterday. New notices from the Pennsylvania Labor and Industry Department. So that's who oversees all of the unemployment and compensation benefits, the labor relations claims. That's who reports on how many people are actually unemployed in our state. So some things happened last week. For the first time, Pennsylvania has actually leveled off. So we were holding at 2.3 million claims, 2.3 million in the state of Pennsylvania. Seems like an awful lot, but we're the first state that's actually leveling off and not actually on an upward trajectory, which is interesting because we're a state that actually stopped. We're shut down the hardest. And, we put people immediately home to protect them. Our governor, and we're going to talk about what's going on in the House of Representatives, but our governor made sure that we stayed at home and our state worked really hard to make sure we were getting these benefits. And then what happened? The scammers woke up. Because y'all know, I don't know who these scammers are, but they smarter than me. That's what I'm going to just tell you. They're smart. Like, no matter what we try to do as a society, there's always somebody who can figure out a way around it to get over. So let's think about the things that we've seen since the CARES Act and all the problems. So first, let's see. There was the big corporations that took the PPP away from the small businesses. So the small businesses didn't actually get any assistance. That's not really a scammer. But again, what do scammers do? They take information and use it to their benefit that was not intended for them. So I'm going to say they were scammers. That was first. Then the stimulus checks came out. And what happened? So some Nigerian princes decided to get together and let you know that if you send them $5 and you hide in your account for them, that they would send you $50,000, making sure they had all your account information to wipe your monies out from the stimulus. So there was that scam. Then there was the car fraud. So they know everybody was staying at home and they said, hey, we'll give you $500 a week. All you got to do is you've got to send me your driver's license, a picture of it, and along with your registration for your vehicle. And we're going to put adverts. Don't forget they were adverts on the vehicle. And all you have to do is drive around and we'll give you $500 a week. Well, where were you driving to? We were all in the house. The reason they needed your driver's license was because they needed to know where their car was registered. The reason that they needed to know where their car, the registration, was so they could make up fake pink slips. So what happened? People had their cars stolen. So that was the next scam. Then we had the word I can't pronounce, hydroquinine. You can order that online. Hydrochloroquine. You could just order it online, apparently. All you had to do was go to hydrochloroquine9.com, if you could spell that, but which would take you to some like ISTERG.US kind of ending, and they would send you your drugs, which, let's see, was killing people because they weren't the stable medications. So now what are they doing? Y'all know about the pandemic unemployment monies, correct? So the pandemic unemployment monies were put in place. That's the additional $600 that we know of that are on top of the pandemic, your unemployment compensation. The pandemic unemployment assistance, and that's what the A is, assistance, was a little bit different because for the first time, gig workers could get it, self-employed people could get it, independent contractors could get it. So what did the scammers go out there and do? The scammers going to scam. So they started sending in applications for people who were deceased. So again, they were gig workers, and because the system was overloaded, what happened? Checks were being sent out to old addresses where nobody lived. So specifically, apparently, there were 3 folks in the western side of the state that got checks in the mail for unemployment benefits who had never filed for unemployment. And so they immediately notified the Department of Labor and Industry and the Attorney General, and there's a whole investigation. What does that mean for you? Well, it means that anybody who's actually receiving PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, is going to get a paper check. So if you filed, so I think it's last Friday or Monday for this week right here, ending May 29th, if you filed for the week ending May 29th, so beginning May 22nd, you're getting a paper check in addition to any of your UC benefits. So you're going to get 2 different things, because I had to actually go and look this up because I was confused whether or not they were going to send paper checks for everything or just one part. So my research is that the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, which is the stuff that's part of the CARES Act, that additional $600, is going to come to you in the U.S. mail. I know, right? It's hard enough out here keeping up, but now you got to actually watch for the mailman. And we know, according to the Postmaster General, that mail is taking 5 to 7 days longer to get places than it normally did. So now I just don't know. But the good thing about it is you'll still get your UC benefits deposited into your bank account if you've already been getting them. So what they're going to do, again, this is what's reported, is they're going to try to double back and make sure that they have those monies out there, that they are actually going to living individuals and not just to dead people, because that's who they were going to, and that the addresses are actually correct and accurate. Hey, gorgeous T-Love. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're a little bit out here by ourselves today because, again, it's 5 wake-ups for election day. So many of my friends who normally would watch or tune in are actually out in the streets because we're working really hard to get elected and to get the word out and to make sure that you can vote. Hey, Robin and Zahira, how you doing? Yes, they just announced this officially that yesterday evening, Rob Ridgeway, what they were going to do, but there were no details. So I checked the website this morning, and the articles online that were written from our treasurer, state treasury department, because that's who actually oversees the payments. And so that's how they're going to do it. So you'll get 2 different payments. And I'm sure anybody who is already getting PUA, who's actually been getting it, they know, even if you get it electronically, there are 2 separate deposits. It's not one deposit. So you'll get one deposit that'll say unemployment compensation, and the next deposit says PUA, and they both say from the Pennsylvania Department of State. They both say the same thing, but they're 2 different deposits. So now you're going to get the deposit that says unemployment compensation, and you're going to get a check in the mail for your PUA. So I need y'all to watch the mail, okay? I need you to watch the mail. And they said this is going to be going on for a couple of weeks while they kind of straighten this out. Now that's important because according to the initial law, the PUA is done the middle of July. So it's only about another 5 weeks of PUA benefits. So we don't know if they're going to get it straightened out or we're going to be doing paper checks all the way through to the end. Hey, Alicia Carabello, when do the rebates come? Which rebates, darling? Are we talking about the rent rebates? Are we talking about the senior rebates? I just need to know which rebate you're talking about, darling, and I can try to answer. Okay, so that's where we are with that. Don't let the scammer scam you. If you have not applied for unemployment, do not cash these checks. Okay, I know that seems really, really basic, but it's not. Because you know somebody's going to cash them, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to come get their monies, and they're going to prosecute. Because you can't even say you were in good faith because the checks tell you they're for unemployment compensation, and you know you didn't apply for unemployment compensation, and you cashed a check, and the check went through the mail. So now you've committed mail fraud. So now this is an interstate commerce issue. So now it's not just the State Department. Now you've committed a federal crime, which carries a stronger sentence to it. So we want to make sure that folks are not putting these things in their accounts and they have not applied for them. Okay, Alicia, we'll come back to you. Thank you. Because they have not closed the deadline yet for the rent rebates. So I'm going to come back to that. So that is issue number 1, the PUA. Please tell your family, because I know everybody who knows somebody who's getting PUA right now. Literally, I know there's at least one person that everybody on here knows, if you don't know five, honestly, because everybody's getting it pretty much except for the essential workers. Anybody who's out of work. Matter of fact, I know some folks who were getting their PUA and they still hadn't gotten their unemployment compensation. And this is also important because unlike unemployment compensation, PUA benefits come every single week, whereas unemployment is only bi-weekly. So you need to watch the mail every single week. Yes, that's correct, Miss Osborne. The PUA, the Additional CARES Act money, will be ending in July. I think it's around the 15th, but I don't remember, and I didn't look at the law before I got here. So that's first. That's the first thing I want to talk to you about. The second thing that I want to talk to you about, I did a live yesterday. The curbside conversation was actually on the curb. I was out on the curb in front of City Hall. We did a nice walk around. You saw the iron gates. Anybody there for that? Well, sometimes when you give the people information, you get immediate change. Guess what? This morning, there went out a notification that we are going to actually have some ballot boxes in the community. Now I need y'all to listen to this because it's really a little janky still, okay? Or janky. I think that's how you say it. Okay, now I'm going to pull this up because I want to make sure I got it right. First of all, it is on my site, Danyl Patterson for 190th. It's there. It is on my website, Patterson for the 190th.com. It is on vote190.com. It's everywhere. We want to make sure that people have it. But I'm going to go citywide because even though I am running to earn the votes of the people in the 190th, because that's all who can vote for me, I want to be a state rep. And state reps are supposed to serve the interest of the entire community. And the community is the state of Pennsylvania. We're supposed to be here doing what's right for all of the people, not just people who look like us or not just people who live down the street. Okay? So I want to make sure that everybody has this information. Starting tomorrow, there are going to be specific drop boxes at designated locations, and they're going to be sealed and locked drop boxes. So this is not like you just walk up, you're not going to the senator's office or, the things that we did to request the ballot to get that in. This is an official legal document. Your vote is an official legal document and is being treated as such. As I told you yesterday, they state that they're going to be prosecuting folks for voter fraud. So that means if you're voting for everybody, you're dropping off 20 ballots, all that kind of stuff, they're watching you. So they are going to have designated boxes out there. I showed you yesterday what the box looks like. They're going to be a designated box at some specific locations in west, southwest, south, far northeast, lower northeast, northeast of Broad, the river wards, northwest Philly, upper northwest Philly, and northwest of Broad. Okay, so let me give you these specifically, and we're going to do the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart 3 or 4 times. So we're going to start out with the best because West is the best. Okay, so West Philadelphians, those folks in the 190th, on this Saturday, and this Saturday only, May 30th, on May 30th only, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Again, May 30th, Sunday, no, is that Sunday? Saturday, sorry. Saturday, May 30th, between 9 and 11 a.m., you can drop your ballot completed off at Boys Latin Charter School High School at 5501 Cedar Avenue. Please remember the times. So if you get there at 11:15, the box will be gone because there's going to be an official there who's supposed to take the box away. That's what's supposed to happen. Okay? But if you miss that on May 30th, on Saturday, then you can go to the Southwest drop-off location at John Bartram High School. The John Bartram High School at 2401 South 67th Street is accepting ballots from 12 until 2. From 12 until 2 at Bartram High School. Also on Saturday, if you missed that one, you can head on south. to South Philly High at 2101 South Broad Street, and that's from 3 to 5. So there are 3 different times: 9 to 11, 12 to 2, 3 to 5. That's West, Southwest, and South Philadelphia, all on the 30th of May. If you make it to Sunday, you don't get it done on Saturday, you want to go on Sunday, then you got to go to South Philly. To the far northeast. The far northeast, you got to go to George Washington High School at 10175 East Bustleton Avenue. Now, you know it's far when you got an address that's 10175 East Bustleton Avenue. That's on Sunday, May 31st, and you got to get there early. It's 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Sunday. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. You missed that one, you can come to the lower northeast. And that's at the Rising Sun Shopping Plaza at Rising Sun and Adams Avenue. And you can take it there on Sunday from 11 to 1. That's Sunday at 11 to 1. You missed that one, you can come a little bit closer. Then that's Northeast of Broad. And that's the 25th District Police Athletic League Center. 3199 D Street. I don't even know what that is. 3199 D Street. And you can go there from 2 to 4. And this day, on the 31st, they go in late, okay? So if you come on back, you can go to the River Wards at the Fishtown Crossing Center at 2401 Aramingo Avenue. 2401 Aramingo Avenue. And that's from 5 to 7, okay? Only 5 to 7. Then you got Monday, June 1st. Monday, June 1st, you can go up to Northwest Philly to the Shawmont Elementary School at 535 Shawmont Avenue. That's on Monday from 9 to 11. You miss it, come on down and go to Upper North at Central High School. At least I know what they said. At Central, because you know they was right next to the best school, Girls High. 1700 West Olney Avenue. 1700 West Olney Avenue. Head on down to Central, and you can go to Central between 12 and 2. And then your absolute last chance to not take it to City Hall. To not take it to City Hall, your absolute last chance is to go to the Northwest of Broad Station at Tanner Duckery Public School. 1501 West Diamond. 1501 West Diamond on Monday from 3 to 5, okay? Now, don't forget, West Philadelphia, folks in the 190th, you don't need to do all that. Get it in on Saturday from 9 to 11 at Boys Latin High School, 5501 Cedar Avenue. Boys Latin, 5501 Cedar Avenue. You can get it done close to your community. Now, why is all this important? If you don't do this and you choose instead to rely on the U.S. Postal Service, I just told you that they're telling you that your PUA benefits are going to be delayed. If your ballots are not in hand at the city commissioner's office by 8 p.m. on Tuesday the 2nd, you've done all this work. You have requested a mail-in ballot. You have tracked the mail-in ballot. You have actually filled the mail-in ballot out. You got it in the mail, and guess what? It didn't get counted. That's what happens. I'm sure that there's nobody out here who did all this work that does not want their vote counted. So I'm going to tell you, if you want your vote counted, that it is probably best that you head on over to one of these drop boxes and drop your ballot in and know it. And that's something else I'm going to tell you because they don't tell you. Take a picture. When you do it, I want to see my entire timeline filled up, your personal I voted testimonies, which is you taking a little picture right by the box when you drop it in. Twofold. It's not just because, I want to see pictures of everybody out there, putting Patterson in position, but really exercising their right to vote. I want to make sure that this is documented just in case the numbers don't come out quite right. I dropped my box off, I dropped my ballot off at so-and-so time. There should be this many ballots in there. We want to make sure that your vote is counted. Help us to help you, okay? Now, the polls close. Your vote must be in at the ballot box on the southwest side of City Hall It's right across from the Ritz-Carlton. It's right across from the Ritz-Carlton. It's right next to the big Octavia, who is it? Cato, what's her name? There you go, that person. What'd you say again? Octavius Cato. Thank you, Octavius. Okay, wait a minute, because I'm gonna tell you, sis, what happened. I'm making my Octavia Spencer every time. I'm like, that's not right. I'm like, I know that's not right. Okay, Octavius Cato statue. You remember the one with the black man? We had the whole big thing that we finally put a black man by City Hall. Go find the black man by City Hall. Take a picture with him, because you know this is gonna be the most business he ever had. Go, because what is he doing in his statue? He's out there voting. He's got his ballot box right next to him. You can't miss him, okay? So head on out there and you make sure that you have your ballot dropped off so it can be counted. So that's issue number 2. And now we really gonna talk about it, because we're gonna talk about this fair commonwealth, okay? We done talked about why, when I've tried to make the case to you as to why I'm the best candidate to represent folks in the 190th. I've tried to outlay my plan for you. I've tried to give you the information you need. We've tried to be forward thinking, actually give you solutions to our biggest problems, be responsive, provide constituent services. But y'all see what Harrisburg is like now. There's no way you didn't see. My soon-to-be colleague, Representative Brian Sims, who's from the Center City District, told us about what's going on Capitol Hill. And so he sits on the government, the state government committee. Now, people say they don't even know what committee people sit on, okay? But I'm gonna tell you this. There's nobody from the 190th that sits on the state government committee. Okay, so please don't get confused. Okay, that's the committee that determines how the state is actually going to be run. And particularly right now, all those bills that we've been talking about, where they come from, they've all been coming from state government committee. So I don't want anybody to get confused that, you know, people are out here passing bills and all for, you know, your betterment, and they're making up these bills, because they're not. They're coming out of state government. Okay, and there's nobody who represents the 190th directly, who is on the state government committee. Go look it up. That's not me talking. You can find it on Google. Go Google it, okay? Now, this is very important, because the state government committee is where all the fights have been happening about the stay-at-home orders, about what businesses are essential, what can be open, what can be closed, what the numbers are, what the yellow, green, the red, yellow, green phase looks like. All that comes out of the state government committee. Brian Sims sits on relations between state and federal government. He sits on that subcommittee. As a matter of fact, he is one of the co-chairs of that subcommittee. And yesterday he reported that the Republican majority in Harrisburg, specifically as a part of state government committee, who has met every single day. State government has met every single day, because the Republican-controlled House determined that they had to meet every single day in person or waive their rights to vote. They knew that several of their colleagues, the other Republicans, had tested positive for COVID-19. And did not advise every single member that was sitting in that house, so that folks could protect their family and friends, their loved ones, their colleagues, their employees. But you know who they did tell? They told one another. Why? Because relationships between the parties are that broken. But it's not just that. Because see, while Representative Sims was telling us this, we all missed something that happened on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the House voted to override, to withdraw the governor's executive powers to instill a stay-at-home order. That's so basically the executive order that is telling us to stay at home, that is coming from the governor, the House determined that it is no longer the authority of the governor to do this. Now, it's going to be a whole bunch of constitutional challenges. Y'all know I gave you the civics lesson about what happens and what's the point of making good law. Well, this is what you call not a good law, but it's still law that they're trying to pass. So let me give you another example of some stuff that happens because folks get confused. I'm going to give you a better example. The best example that we all know is Obamacare, okay? And the Affordable Care Act, because the folks that call it Obamacare started calling it that because they knew that it was going to incite this fear and the racial, mongering that goes along with it. Well, President Obama was a constitutional rights lawyer. He was a very successful lawyer teaching, constitutional rights at Harvard. And when the Affordable Care Act was drafted, it was drafted as very sound law in the tenets of law. That's the reason there was all this stuff about the tax credits and this and that. And the reason for that is because government absolutely can control what are tax credits. There's a lot that government can't control, but that is something that is purely discretionary, how you can be taxed. That is federal government. And the reason, what did the Republicans do for the entire 6 years after the Affordable Care Act was passed? And y'all saw it on the news, every single week, there was something like 23 different votes to end the Affordable Care Act. So this is basically what happened on Tuesday. The House Republicans took another vote to end the governor's executive stay-at-home order by deciding that they revoked his privilege to write that executive order. Now, the difference here is there's a Republican majority in the Senate as well. So there's going to be another vote. Well, all while this is happening, the Republicans are up there telling you that, hey, it's safe to go back to work. It's safe to reopen your businesses. It's safe to go to the gym, get your nails done, get a massage. It's safe to do everything. Open it up, open it up, open it up. And the folks, they rushed the Capitol and said the same thing. Open it up, open it up, open it up. Meanwhile, those same individuals were sitting at home protecting their family and their friends from the virus that they knew was rampant inside of the State House. But who didn't they tell? They didn't tell their colleagues. So I ask you, as you're sitting at home and you're filling out your ballot, who do you think in the 190th is in the best position to truly advocate to protect you from this kind of representation? Who's presented to you a plan that's beyond, the basics that we need? Who's looking at the basics, the broader range, and the future? And I think that is abundantly clear. I'm going to ask you again. When you're filling out your ballot, look on the row with Joe, go down to number 17, help put Patterson in position. Because you see, what's going on in the state is no different than what's going on in Minneapolis. Now I'm going in here. I talked to you about how I ended up, changing from thinking I was going to be a corporate lawyer into different kinds of law. And I did that, in a personal little curbside conversation. And I really don't want to rehash it because I don't want to get upset. But I'm going to tell you that exposing your colleagues to this crisis, to this disease, it was a public lynching of your other public officials. That's what it was. It was done with all the maliciousness. It was an opportunity to put a foot on the neck of those people who oppose you. It was a means to suppress you and me, the folks who are at home, who are struggling through this pandemic every single day, who are trying to find their way. It was exactly the same thing. We watched yesterday as Brian Sims basically told you he couldn't breathe. We condemn it on the streets of Minneapolis. We condemn it on the streets of Philadelphia. We need to condemn it on the streets and in the House and in the Senate and in the governor's mansion of Pennsylvania. And I ask you to stand together. Help us do that. Put Patterson in position on June 2nd. Push button number 17. Look on the row with Joe. You need more information? Go over to vote190.com. Pledge to vote. Let's follow you. I want to see those pictures. Upload them to the website. Cite them over to my inbox. Paste them to the page. I want you to let the people know Let Harrisburg know that together we will do better. I am Danyl Patterson, candidate for state rep. I hope I've earned your vote. I'm going to remind you we've only got 5 more wake ups until the day that we can show that we knew that together we will do better.